phone. This is fun.
Whatever makes you happy.
All right, I gotta.
Cool. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another mental health chat with Punk Rock Saves Lives. I am Tina. I've been away for a little bit for a lot of things that definitely have to do with mental health and grieving. And I'm sure I will talk more about that in the future, but today's not that day. We have some wonderful guests joining us from Texas. And I will first introduce, by the way, Dan. And hi, Dan.
Hi. How are you? Wait, what?
What? I introduced you. Hello.
Your first introduction.
You first.
I am Dan.
Dan's pretty great. He does a lot of stuff for our mental health. If you've never tuned in before, if you have, you've seen his face a lot. Above me, and I'll just say ahead of this, both of these guests, we were fortunate enough to know from our Love, Hope, Strength days. Pretty excited about it. And they're both from Texas, and they just met today. Who knew?
It's a win.
It's a win. 2 Love, Hope, Strength volunteers, Texas. Today was the day with Punk Rock Saves Lives. But the man above me is the one and only Jonathan Wells.
Hi, y'all.
He's on our advisory committee. And if you want to say about just what you do with your life.
Yeah, I do stuff with my life. I know I do. I collect stuffed animals. You know, we've talked about that. And yeah, I am a huge, mental health fan. Being in long-term recovery myself. Wasn't born in Texas, but I got here as quick as I could. And I love Bluebonnets. I love to travel. And that's about it. I work from home pretty much, obviously, all the time now because of COVID. But I still try to get out a little bit. Yeah.
I think that's the one thing we need to all try to do with our mental health is to get out, because it's extremely hard. And then last but definitely not least is Claire. And please introduce yourself more.
Hello, everyone. My name is Claire. I do not work from home. I used to, but unfortunately, it took a mental toll on me. But I work a couple small jobs right now, and mental health is definitely a big deal for me right now during this COVID. So, yes, I'm really happy to be here and so happy to see Tina and Dan's face again and to meet Jonathan. So it's definitely an exciting night for me.
Yay! Good. I'm glad. I think it's kind of the best thing to say is an exciting night as we talk mental health, because sometimes it gets super deep, and mental health can be scary, and it can be not the ideal conversation to have. So I am excited to have you guys here. Dan, do you have anything to start to say? I know you hate when I put you on the spot.
Wouldn't say it's on the spot. I think it's me thinking I'm prepared when I'm not, or vice versa. I can never get it right. No, this this month is Suicide Awareness Month, as it, like anything else, yearly happens, as a great way to recognize, to let others know, to post articles, to post whatever it can be on social media, to allow others to be open and know that it's okay to end the stigma behind it, to talk with family and friends, which is exactly why we're here today. And it's a hard topic to talk about, but it's a much needed topic to talk about.
Yeah. And I think a big thing about ending the stigma is not just like suicide prevention or things like that. It's also just mental health in general. And the stigma completely on it not being okay to talk about how you are, or feeling like you have to say that you're sick when you're calling out to work, when in reality you're just having a day where you can barely get out of bed and eating is a chore. I'm sure we've all been there one way or another. I've been having those days more often than not lately. And it's hard. And it's hard to admit that the reason why you're calling is not a sore throat. And it is because mentally you're just not okay.
And it's not something to feel guilty about or ashamed by any means, because I know all four of us have, and I don't even need to know that as a fact.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. It really is a good thing. I'm not calling anybody out. It really is.
Oh, I'm going to call you.
It's needed. It really is. It could be the overwhelmingness of life. And nice. Thank you.
Welcome. No, I think it is. And it's definitely something
you can call me out. I'm used to it.
Yeah.
He's waiting for you.
I 100% plan on calling all of you out because this is why we're talking today. But it's all the little things. Like, I'll even admit, my company was really great. Absolutely amazing with my bereavement. They gave me more than over 2 weeks, honestly, to get my life together. And I still wasn't ready. And it was one of those things where I had to physically say it. Like, there was a moment where my boss asked me how I was doing, and I was like, I'm not okay. I'm panic attacking every morning. I am too upset to physically be at the front desk, and I need to be in my little cubicle alone away from people. Because I wasn't ready to see others, and I definitely wasn't ready to see people who were of an older generation that would bring up the feelings that I was having at that time. Sorry.
Yeah.
Dogs are going slightly crazy at the moment.
Yeah, I promise I'm paying attention. I'm trying to share our video here. Oh, I can't share it.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's great that they gave you that, and that your company checked up on you. My company's vision is to really build as fast as they can without sometimes taking into account mental health. So, but we're telehealth, so we have therapists, and I think about maybe a month or two ago, one of our main behavioral health therapists said on the US wide call, if anybody needed to talk, definitely reach out. And I was about a week and a half ago, probably not in the best place with my relationship with my boyfriend, and I felt stagnant at work and whatever. So I reached out to her, and she totally took time out of her day, from seeing patients, and talked to me for 30 minutes. And it's great to have that at the company that I work for. But it was hard because I know her from a work life, so I'm what all do I tell her about me personally? But I just let it out. I just needed to let it go. And I told her I was stagnant and all this other thing, just everything that was going on. And she was like, yeah, you definitely have some type of mild depression going on, which I didn't even think I did. I was I'm semi-productive at work, but I haven't been doing much because I've been at home. So I go from the chair to the couch. And sometimes I clean, and rarely do I cook like I used to. And I know my boyfriend's been getting on to me about that. So, but she was like, why don't you, stop checking social media, throughout the day. Don't check it at night. Don't watch TV as much as you do at night. Try to do something else. Read a book, go for a walk around your apartment, go work out, which I've been totally blowing off. And sorry, this has kind of turned into a counseling session, I guess.
I'm into it.
Blabbing.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
Okay,
so okay, good. So she was just like, you need to go do this. And I was like, I agree. And so, I started turning off the television. I stopped checking social media as much because it's a downer right now with everything that's going on. And I just can't take it. It puts me in a bad mood during the day. I'm already so busy during the day, and but then there's so much going on at work, and then I'm trying to do all of this with life, and then it's just becoming too much to where I can't, I was not functioning as well as I could. And there was a day where when I got back from Corpus from moving my sister out of her house and moving her to Austin, that I just slept all day. That's all I did. And that's after that is when I talked to her. I'm just like, there's obviously something going on, and I didn't know what it was. So I had to reach out for help, right? And I don't like talking to counselors because they get up in my business, and I don't like that, right? So I'm like, why are you asking this question? So you don't need to know about that. That's not part of this pertinent conversation I'm having right now with you.
But isn't it interesting how they ask those questions that you're like, that means that doesn't have to do with what I came here for. And then you talked it out and you're like, oh, that has everything to do with why I came here.
Yeah. So it's nice to have that with the work thing that you were talking about, right? And she reached out to me before she went on vacation for the next week, which was nice. But I think I'm gonna move out of my work stuff because she knows way too much about me right now, and move it to an actual counselor out of work. But it's okay, right? It's okay to know somebody new and to get to know somebody that I don't know and tell all my deepest, darkest secrets to, right?
I actually think that's, in my opinion, that's better. It's kind of where I talk a lot about why I think counseling and therapy is important, because our friends and people who know and love us can only do so much because they know and love us and care about us and want to support us, right? And they also don't have the proper tools. So you get someone who is unbiased and just wants to help you in a professional, that's my job is to make you okay kind of way, instead of I want my friend to thrive and be happy kind of way. I think it makes a difference. I really do. It's why I officially myself, my first session is next week. Thank you. And as we talk about work, my work EAP actually gave me, ready for this, because I find it outrageous, 9 sessions. 9 free sessions.
Wow.
Per person in our household and per issue. So if I go and I need something else, if something else happens that has nothing to do with my grief, I have another 9 sessions to go work it out. And it's all because I asked. And that was one of those things of me going to my boss going, I think I need to go do this. And she goes, let's talk to our HR. I feel like we have options. And she thought it was just 3. Turns out it's 3 times 3, which is pretty phenomenal.
That's really cool. I work for a healthcare company that has telehealth services. I don't even think we get that.
I was shocked. I was absolutely blown away. And I've used the same, I could tell it was the same company I've used previously. I've done this before with the job. I've used therapy for the last death of a parent I had. And it was the same thing because I had to go in and it was like, we've used this email before. And it was like, contact your PNC person. I was like, oh, that was many moons ago. EAP. I am no longer with that company. Okay. New email it is. But yeah, it's kind of amazing. And I'm excited to talk out everything with someone where it doesn't hurt them. Like me talking about my grief to like my husband, he gets it and he understands it, but it hurts him to see how much I'm hurting. And I think that could be a detriment to someone trying to help you. Because at that point, they just want you to feel better and not really work through the bad, right? Like there's a lot of not good you have to get through to get to the better. Or you're just pushing it down. And like the musical, I think of all the time, honestly, Book of Mormon, there is a song that is Turn It Off. And it's everything. It's turn off your emotions like a light switch. Just click. And they they have this whole song about how that's how they do life is they just turn off their, it's done. I don't feel that way anymore. It's fine.
Yeah.
And that's not healthy.
No.
Never.
And I think that's all of this really does is suicide prevention. You talk it out. You have people to go to. You have resources. You have a cat.
I know.
And
see, now she wants me to pet her. Yeah.
I know.
Not earlier.
But it gives you options where when instead of having where you feel like you have nothing, you have no options. And that's why you take certain actions, which is what we want to try to prevent. Because I'd rather hear you guys talk about it than have to feel what I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
How about you, Claire? How's everything going mentally? You said working from home was hard.
Yeah. So my previous job, temporarily, I was working for the state of Texas. I was a case investigator where I would call people and tell you that you tested positive for coronavirus. Yeah. Yeah. I did it for about 3 months and then I just couldn't do it anymore. I mean, I had the best things, like I had benefits and all these other great things and 40 hours a week, but even for the pay, it wasn't worth it for that mental toll that it took on and physical toll. Like I like sitting here, but I was sitting here 40 hours a week.
Telling bad news.
And I was I had other jobs too on top of it. So I was like, you know what? I'm sorry, physically and mentally, I can't do this. It is not helping me at all. I need to do this for myself and not to do it. So it's a bit of a struggle for me right now, but it's worth it more. I just moved in by myself, so it's kind of a weird thing. I haven't had the chance yet to really enjoy what I have. I spent most of today sleeping for once. So I was like, I'm taking a day off. I don't care. It's just been rough. Like even with the upcoming elections that we're having, my parents are hardcore Trump fans, and it's taking a toll on my relationship with them and my brothers. They don't understand it of why
it affects you.
Yeah, and no matter how hard we try and tell them, they will never understand it. So it's so many different things, especially like I posted about Suicide Prevention Day, and somebody shared it with my parents, and it got back to them, and they don't realize their emotions, and they're joking and saying things like, "Oh, he's the best thing since sliced bread," how much it hurts me, or how much we can be discriminated against, or not have a job at all, So it's kind of hard when you're also still financially dependent a little bit from your parents, without having to cut off that toxic relationship when you kind of, you have to need the toxic relationship, but that you don't want it,
Wow, that's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready.
It's hard. It's I have to say though, any politics aside or any like differences in opinion, right?
Yeah.
I had that with my favorite person on the planet, my grandmother, my yaya. I loved her.
Yeah.
She was literally my best friend, but we were polar opposites.
Yeah,
like screaming matches. Because I'm like pro a lot of things, and she was like, Tina, they're communists, and I'd be like, okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah, we try and do that with us too. Like, so my dad's birthday was the other night, and I had all of my family members corner me and ask me, and they try and push the one agenda on me and telling me, oh, they're the greatest things in sliced bread. I'm like, well, actually not. And especially when it's a worse awkward situation, when it's your whole family members,
it's everyone, and you
bringing
feel
up at the same time, and you're like, okay, I can't actually physically go anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, my parents and I, we've had they're big Trump fans too, and so is my sister, and so is my brother, I think, and we've come to a mutual sort of agreement because
Yeah,
we're all into politics, like really heavily, and
mhm.
we just come to we've bickered back and forth, and we're like, oh, we're having we're
Stop.
not,
Yeah.
let's stop, and then we'll move on to something else, and lately it's been like, let's just avoid this whole thing and just not talk about it, and they don't push it in my face, and they're not as crazy as maybe it sounds like your parents
extreme.
are. Yeah, that's just extreme. But like my mom, she ran a Republican campaign for
So
a position.
we've done that.
Did she?
I've worked for previous presidents volunteering when I was younger without really realizing it, of course.
Mhm.
When you're in high school and when I was in college, I lived in DC,
Cool.
I've worked for both Bush campaigns.
Hey.
I've met him, been to the White House. My mom had a job publicly appointed by Bush. So
Listen, Bush memes are some of my favorite things on the planet, and I love watching him try to be a person. I'm in.
Yeah.
100%.
So it's a bit of both, like when Trump came to Dallas, the place that he came to is about 5 minutes from my house. So it's the same thing for my parents, like with mental health. They'll tell you, oh, Tina, I know you're feeling bad. You should just go for a walk and then you'll feel so much better. It'll just, like, I've gained a lot of weight from Corona, and for them, they can't stand it. Like,
they don't understand why.
Go for a walk. Go on a diet. It's like, yes, I'm trying to, but it's not
hard.
It's not that easy. Like, take a pill, you'll be fine. When I came out to them about over 20 years ago, they told me I was trying to copy my brother. I was like, yes, that's how it works when you're coming out. If one of your kids is gay, then the other one just wants to be like them and be gay too, just because they are.
What?
Didn't work that way.
I'm not kidding, Tina. I see the look on your face.
There's like a certain point where that I have no words. What?
And it's kind of a weird thing because my parents, my dad's American, born and raised here. My mom's Dutch, so she comes really from a different
culture,
old school culture of like. She's like, well, I have a gay friend. It's like, well, that doesn't really count. It's not the same thing. Yeah.
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 Yeah, because that's how it works, right? Because, yeah.
I mean, it's hard. And that's what one of my things with my yaya was. It was a hard, she was raised by two people from old country Greece.
Yeah, and they don't get it of, it's so funny watching when me and her family all feel the same way, but not her, and it kind of, so I was like, well, if your whole country's against them except for you, then you're probably the problem. Yeah. So that's my feelings for right now. So
I'm sorry, that's hard.
As I drop myself in peace.
I'm cooking chicken tenders in an air fryer right now. I don't judge you.
I had pizza tonight. Let me tell you, it was the greatest thing on earth. Okay.
And sometimes it's a lot easier. There are moments where Rob and I are just not having a good day.
Yeah.
And instead of going, the idea of cooking seems like so much weight on our shoulders compared to how easy it is to get little dragon delivered to our house.
Yeah, these are leftovers from my parents' house yesterday that I took home with me.
I would do the same thing. I would take all their food.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that a few times, yeah.
It doesn't help that my boyfriend is a restaurant manager at like an Italian restaurant down the street.
Ooh, yeah.
Does not help Claire, let me tell you. I mean, You think it's nice, Claire. Like your face seemed like it's nice, but
Yes.
after like having it 3 times a week, or sometimes 4, it's just like I can't.
I used to work at a pizza place. Okay,
Oh.
I get it.
Yeah.
They've seen me through my
it's
worst.
hard.
I got assaulted and robbed on the job.
I remember that.
See, yeah,
Ugh.
I know you guys remember that. So yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that.
I remember for the food though. Of like, okay, I need to go eat somewhere else that's not in my own workspace.
I used to, when I worked in a restaurant, I would take the ingredients and mix them up myself. Like I'd be like, okay, what do we have here? There's chicken, cool. I'm gonna cut those up. Like I would literally just play around
Mm-hmm.
to make it something different. Because I worked at a burger and chili place for 3
my.
years.
Oh, God.
I can literally only eat that so often.
God. I don't think I'm gonna ever eat a burger again. Like,
I switched it up a lot, right? Like a lot.
I mean, I used to work at this place called Tex-King Cafe, and after I worked there for a while, and after I quit, I don't think I ate Mexican food for a while.
Yeah. That hurts
but
my
now-
heart, but yes.
Yeah, I know it hurts, but now I go back for their quesos and that's the bomb. Yeah, I know.
I've honestly been thinking that's all I want today is queso.
Oh,
So you didn't help me, but
yeah. Sorry.
Okay, so sorry.
so I'm saying it's honestly my crave of all the time. But it's hard. All the things that we could go through as humans, and especially with people that we love, and having them be different, have different opinions than us. It's super hard. But I do have to say, and this is definitely the exception to the rule, and I don't think it's an everyday thing. But because I was kind of like an effort, I'm going to talk to my yaya about everything. Reasons why on my foot, my tattoo says I've lived too long, because that would be her response to me daily is, Tina, I've lived too long for this conversation, or Tina, I've lived too long to know where you were last night, or all of the above. A couple of days before she died, she finally told me that she agreed with me on a lot of the things we thought about. And it was everything I believe in as a human being to my soul. But I knew my grandmother, I knew my yaya was a wonderful human being. And I just think she never had the proper chance to learn, being how she was raised by, her parents were born in 1900 in Greece, right? Like they were born in 1900. I think my great grandfather was like 18, like just a year before or so. And in small town Greece. So she didn't have a lot of the opportunities if she would be around now to like see everything and to understand how things work, instead of being raised by two traditional as can be Greek people who my great grandmother locked herself in the bathroom because she was marrying someone Polish. That was the only bad thing. He was Polish.
That's funny. Wow.
So sometimes it does take longer than we would want our loved ones to agree with, but every once in a while they can come. They can get together.
Yep. But the most important thing, your yaya taught you to cook Greek, right?
Yes, she did.
Okay, so when I come up there, that's what we're having for dinner, right? I just want to put this out there. Yeah.
I will cook you a homemade Greek meal. Yes.
So when I visit my family up there too, then we'll hang out together.
I can hop off the call now. I just wanted Tina to agree with that. Bye. No.
I just recently came across a chicken noodle soup recipe you gave me, Tina, like a year or so ago.
Ooh.
So
See?
winter's coming, and that sounds delicious.
See? Yes.
Winter
On-
is coming.
All right. Yes, it is. Since it already snowed here,
Heard.
yep. I mean, it's warm again. It was 90 today. We can't win them all. No, food can be comforting though. I do have to say that. And like Greek recipes and stuff definitely give me a sense of my family that I miss with all my heart.
A sense of home.
Yeah, a sense of home, a sense of when things weren't that complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we were kids, and I can't even imagine what kids are going through now. But like when we were kids and everything was pretty easy breezy.
That's very true.
It definitely is. But I appreciate you guys sharing everything with us, even if it feels intense. So thank you.
No, it's nice. I've had a lot of sessions with my own therapist lately, but it's good still to talk to other people too about it. Because I feel like when it's with your own family member, it tends to be a little biased in how they think and their visions of what you should and shouldn't do or can and can't do. And spotlight. No.
Surprise!
So it's always even with friends to have people to talk to. Like it's really hard, of course, right now of finding people and friends to talk to.
Yeah.
I realize
you're not alone.
Yes, I know. I realize that too. I've talked about that a lot with my brother, who's definitely been a really huge support by my side of having him to know that okay, we're both going through this, so it's not just you. When you think it's only you of feelings and emotions and stuff like that, and yeah,
it's not. You're not alone, and I think that's important to find people to talk to feel, to know you. The things that you're feeling aren't out of not normal. And then it kind of sounds crazy, but I feel like it makes us feel worse when we're feeling all these things and we're like, well, how do I turn to someone when there's no way they understand?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been very lucky that I guess not somewhat fortunate, but I've had a couple people reach out to me who've been in similar situations.
Same. I had Dan, fortunately enough, reach out to me the other night just to check in and see how I was doing, and it was a really big help, and he knows that, and so yeah.
We're here for it.
Yes.
We're all family, like Tina said. Mm-hmm. We're all going through something different, but the emotions are not far off from one another.
No,
I mean,
they can be very similar, which is insane.
Yeah. It is. It's more dead on than we could ever know.
Yeah. And there are times where you feel something new and you're like, well, that's different. And you explain it and someone's like, oh no, I've been there. And it could be for a totally different reason. We're talking totally different things and different things affect us, but yet the feelings and how it affects your body.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, take for instance, Tina, our friend Alvaro.
Yeah.
So
I know Alvaro too very well.
Yeah, Alvaro.
I know.
So, like one of my best friends, and so we constantly reach out to each other, and check up on each other on how we're doing, and well, someone's gonna look out for that boy.
That's what I mean.
I mean, we talk a lot, and he's been there through my divorce. He's been there through a very difficult situations when I'm feeling alone, or I could text him right now and just go, I'm feeling down, alone. He'll be great. Let's go meet somewhere, right? With just a drop of the dime and drop the hat. So I'll do that for him too. So it's great to have those, like, my little, what I call my little inner circle friends that you could talk to. You can reach out about anything, and I probably have 10, and I'm very fortunate to have 10 that I can talk to anything about, right? There are people that are in other states, one in another country, and you reach out, and no, sometimes I just don't want to reach out, but I reach out anyway because I'm like, I don't want them to know. I think that's it. I don't want them to know.
That's
right.
real.
And it's like, I have this up here going on, but I don't want them to know that's what I'm thinking, because it may just be too bad or they may judge me. Right. But these people don't. And that's nice. And I think everybody needs to have their little circle of friends that they can reach out to. So in fact, here in Austin, my recovery group, Galano, we have a Galano Facebook page, and it's a private, group. And people reach out on there. Sometimes we've seen posts on other people's Facebook page, and they were like, we're not sure if they're doing okay. And this one person in particular, they posted something that was scary to a lot of people, and all of a sudden I got 3 phone calls. Right? Do you know this person's address? And within, I think, like 10 or 15 minutes, somebody was at his door. Right? And I think that's the type of circles and friends that I think everybody needs to try to get, right, sometime. And in some type of these groups. And PS, personal, mental health group is one of those, right? I think anybody would pick up the phone in a heartbeat to talk to Claire or Michelle or Robin or, anybody. I know I would. And it's great to have those types of things.
Yeah, I
see them popping up more and more too on my Facebook, like little groups. Like here's an invite, here's an invite, and I'm like, sure, okay, I don't know you, but I'm glad I'll add myself in this group.
Yeah. Like Alvaro and I, we don't talk too much, but we share through crappy puns and crappy jokes, as they can attest.
Yes.
That's our own special way. Like when we met, I think it was we met at David Sedaris. That's where we met. Yeah, a couple years back. So
you had me at bad jokes. I had to have plenty of talk with that man.
Yes, I know you. I know that because I've heard that from both you and your husband.
To reel it in. Yes,
but it kind of helps though. With like it helps in a way of. Personally, when you can talk to somebody when you both have the same sense of humor,
yes,
about different things, it really does help too. Like you see my jokes, and I know Dan does too. That helps,
We had this talk like a week or so ago. Just that simple topic of it sounds odd to most that don't get it, but most do. On the factor that dark humor is like coping on the spot. It's a way to just kind of.
Yeah, it's the laughing mechanism definitely helps even when the humor sometimes is dark when dealing with this also in general. It definitely does help it of even when that it helps others, like, oh well, I really because he's mentioned it to me before, like, oh my gosh, I really enjoy that. They really help me get me through sometimes, and I'm like, okay, good, that makes me feel better.
Yeah. Dark humor is the best. Claire, the stuff that you're going to get from me on Facebook now. So
just ask them too. They can attest to it because I've known them for a really long time. So
yeah.
And if they get too dark, let me know. But I'm in a group with my closest friends, and the group is called Too Funny and Too Offensive, and it's a photo, like you can share like photos in a group with iPhones.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff we post on there, it's like, even some of the stuff they post, I'm like, that's wrong. That's wrong.
Just add me to the group now and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'll blend right in. So yeah.
I mean, I can tell you based on the 39 minutes and 19 seconds that I've gotten to know you would love this group. Okay. But I get on there maybe like once or twice a day, and it makes my day. And then sometimes I'll get something for my friend Alvaro or Alvaro, our friend Alvaro, and our mutual friend Josh. And man, it's like, I don't know what's going on through Josh's brain, but that's some really dark crap. But it's funny.
No,
It
it
makes my
yeah.
day.
No, it definitely does help. Like I'm part of. I go on a cruise every year. It's very similar. It's the exact same thing of you guys going on the Flogging of Molly cruise through a different company. And same thing. I have that group as like my own little space and backbone. Is definitely the group of people that have been there the most for me that understand it. You know, of knowing. So, yeah.
Claire, we're gonna be best friends. I can feel this right here.
I feel like you are, and it still blows my mind. You both know Alvaro really well. Both LA Just Volunteers, both in Texas, and yeah,
I know most of the other volunteers. So I've been friends with some of the other volunteers, and even people that I know that I've helped. Even cancer survivors, I know that I've helped swab their potential match. So, yeah.
Stuff like that still does help me, knowing the good that we can do and the different ways we can activate. But there's also like the difference between me and my significant other is for him, that's enough. Knowing the good that he can do every day is enough for him to be okay. With a couple dark days every couple months, maybe. Compared to me where there's a certain point where it's not enough and I need a mental health day or I need a day where I'm not working. But I do think having the good is important and knowing that those things are different. Like needing a mental health day for me doesn't mean I don't think that we've done amazing good, that we've swabbed people, that at one Bonnaroo, which is still my favorite moment of literally all time, this mom came up to us and said that her son got a bone marrow transplant, is alive here at Bonnaroo today, and that his person who donated to him was swabbed at a Red Rocks concert.
That's awesome.
Knowing that was us.
Yeah, I've
knowing
say that to me at I think we had someone say that to me like either at Ozfest or at Warped Tour.
Yeah,
they said that to me, and even when people find out outside of this, of realizing it, you know, and both the funny side of it, you know, when we get the drunks, like we have the funny humor of it too, of people like, yeah, but I'm drunk or I've been smoking pot. It's like, I really don't. I don't care. I'm not here to judge. We had somebody actually at Scamp that came up to me, and they were so afraid that the police were going to find them since I was taking their info, and they were too scared to give me a name.
Scam.
That was honestly normal.
Yeah.
For me, and especially for anything that has to do with EDM. They'd be like, I'll give you my DNA. You don't need my name. And I was like, I want you to say that statement again.
And then I told him how I told some of my friends about it, you know, and like some of them are covered in tattoos, like head to toe.
Afraid of needles.
Yes, and they're like, but I'm afraid of, and I'm like,
okay.
And they understand the difference between being like, I don't have any tattoos. Actually, I can't. I won't. But of being poked by one versus one being injected, it's
So I get that. And I was a firm believer every time I saw, and this was me like stereotyping and being a not great human being in my brain. I don't put that out there. I'm learning of seeing a big man covered in tattoos telling me he's afraid and me being like, what the F?
Yeah.
Like, get it together, which is not a thing to do because that's something we're against. If you're afraid and if you have a mental blockage, that doesn't make you less of a man or less of a person. But wasn't in my head for
it took a while to get you to the state of you knowing of it. Yeah.
Yes. But it was a moment, and it wasn't a man. It was actually a woman. A girl that came up to me at an Andrew McMahon show and was like, yes, yes, I want to do this. Yes. And the moment she got the clipboard, she passed out. Passed out. And so when she woke up and Rob had her in his
Cradled.
hand,
Yeah.
because it was concrete, so he luckily caught it at the right time. I was like, I don't think this is for you.
Yeah, because people would automatically look at the diagram picture that we have, the picture, and I remember being with Alvaro and us having to explain the difference of you mainly do the one through the hip, the marrow one for your arm way much more than you do the one that's the extreme cases. When I'm like, no, you don't understand. Actually, it's gotten much different and better through the years because, of course. Back in the day, of course, you probably had to do something much more extreme, versus the way things are done for any medical procedure or cause right now.
Yeah. Fun fact, at my job, I actually see the stem cell transplants every day. We work with Be the Match, and we have one like 3 times a week. What?
What a great feeling.
Right? And honestly, it's super cool. And it's easy. It's long, and the most I've ever heard is people come in going, "I'm sore," and that was from the protein shot.
Yeah, see, people
they were like, "I'm aching," like that's it.
Yeah,
and the actual procedure itself is nothing.
Or like the of course, people when people over exaggerate thinking of how bad it is or was when they've never gone through it, so they wouldn't know.
It's hard, and it's one of those things where it goes back to we see it because we see the good in people, but also. There's a mental health side to it. There is a fear. There is a actual fear. And I look at it as, this is going to be a fun fact, is I can't give blood.
Neither can I.
But I can't give blood specifically because I will pass out. I pass out immediately. And when I was going through all my treatments, they had to take my blood through my port because every time they would just take test tubes, little tiny little things.
Yeah.
I would pass out.
And that's the weird thing I noticed with us too is that there's many of us that volunteer for LHS or even for you guys. Once you guys do a lot more, of course, of realizing of how many of us. Volunteer for you, but we can't do it. I realize that too. There's so many of us that can't. So, yeah.
There's something about helping people when you know you can't.
Exactly. That's the way I feel about it. I can't do it because of my own medications I've taken, and I mean, I've had people take blood out of me, of course, for testing, but I hate needles, and I've had many. ER accidents with needles, so their own trauma and stigma of that, but yeah.
I'm not gonna say I almost passed out during my first tattoo, but I will say I almost did. And if I panicked, clearly, hey, I don't know either, Tina.
There's a topic to talk about. There's something about getting a tattoo that helps my mental health. I don't know what it is.
Same.
Yeah, I have friends and family who feel that same way, where it definitely helps with the endorphins of it. And I can't, but I understand it I've sat through people that have gotten tattoos of watching happen, or even the therapeutic sound of the needle.
Yeah, there's something about it there. And I actually, as you say that, I just messaged one of my friends today saying, let's get a tattoo appointment. I have a letter, a stargram from when I did theater back in high school, in my yaya's handwriting saying, "I'm so proud of you. We love you." Yaya, and then my pap's handwriting and my mom. And I'm like, those are the 3 people I don't have in my life anymore. And I would love to get that tattooed on me. And I think that would give me such a sense of connection.
Yeah.
That's another thing. It's like that connection, right? So, Yeah, each one of most of my tattoos are like have some connection. I mean, like, this, I just got this one. This is my kitty.
I love it. I do.
I know. I got a kitty arm. I actually have a quarter sleeve. After I got this tattoo, my tattooer was just like, you do have a quarter sleeve now. And I was like, what? We should go for full. But like, I have a tattoo here, and it's of an album cover, and it was the song that played after my mom spoke on stage about her almost dying back in the day. Poor Walter, he's like all over the place. But yeah, so right here, and it was like a spur of the moment thing, right? I think it was like that day I got the tattoo when my mom spoke, and I was like, I took a picture of that, and I was like, I want that, and I went home and I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, let's just go do it, right? And then I had a dear friend of mine commit suicide. He was battling addiction for a very long time. He used to be one of my roommates, and I wanted to pair something with my Freemason stuff and death, and so I got this tattoo, and it kind of has like a whole thing going on, and but it's like it's just pairing something with that makes me feel better mentally, and I don't know why.
No, I think there's something to it. There's something to making something yours that has meaning to you. And I even find there's something getting a tattoo that has no meaning is just as great. One of my favorite tattoos to date, and I can't show you because it'd be really too awkward for me to try to figure out, it's on my ankle. And it is an awful or fantastic, however you want to look at it, representation of a bad tattoo my friend Jim got when he was young. And he has it on his wrist. He usually wears a watch over it, and it's supposed to be a skull and crossbones. That's up for debate, if that's what it is. And I went to a tattoo artist, and I was like, I want you to go with that, but make it worse. Like, do you? And it was the one time he ever tattooed with his left hand. He added more like liquid, so then it would fade like it was one of my first tattoos. I got it a year ago.
Wow.
And we laughed the whole time. And that alone to me was probably such a great therapeutic, a good laugh. And I think it kind of works. The same day I got my semicolon. Whoop, there we go. And my semicolon is 100% for me as Rob got one on his hand, on his wrist, to show that he was an ally to people who are suffering. And I got one specifically for me because since the age of 8, I have thought and or tried to commit suicide.
Yeah, it kind of is a weird thing for me when I've mentioned it to people. I remember talking to my brother about this last night. I've even mentioned it to people and they realize it. They're like, "Oh, but you're so happy and cheerful," and I'm like, "Yeah, just because I'm smiling doesn't mean anything."
So was Robin Williams.
Yep.
People always think that of like, "Oh, but no," and I'm like, "No, like a lot of times without." Going into detail, but yes,
I mean, you've all seen her talking, and I can't see the comments to know if she is in here and if she is commenting. One of our personal human beings, she said that she once told her mom she was depressed, and her mom's response was, "But you're the happiest kid I know."
My mom got mad at me for being depressed, for telling her when I was younger, for telling my doctor at the time that I was suicidal.
It's hard.
She got mad at me for it.
It's part of the stigma, I think, of depression has to be a reaction or a reason. So a lot of people, when they hear that and they are they feel like it could be their, you know what I mean, like their fault, they take it personally. Even though it could have zero to do with another human being. It could have zero to do with you yourself. It could just be how you feel.
Yeah,
And you
I
have
like what-
no explanation.
I like what Michelle just put in the comments. It says the infamous mask we wear to cover it.
Yeah.
There's always same thing. I've always worn multiple different masks, depending on who I'm with or what I'm around, but I've had, especially with my own family, of them being like, oh, well, but you're happy, you'll be fine. Go take a walk. I've had people tell me that I've been too extra with my illness. Like, actually, calling me extra with it. I'm like,
yeah, it's the equivalent
okay.
of what Rob says, what he learned as a kid, for being a guy. The lights are killing me right now. Of just rubbing dirt on it.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
you're fine. Rub some dirt on it, get up and keep moving.
Yeah.
And it's part of the stigma. Sadly, it truly is just people not understanding.
I mean, I make that joke of what FINE stands for: fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional.
Yeah,
I'm like, sure.
That's actually kind of perfect.
I love it.
You've never heard that?
No, and I love it so much.
No, that's what it stands for. Like, because especially, when you talk to somebody or anybody, and they're like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm okay. But from like the tone in my voice when I say that to you of somebody being like, okay.
No, sorry. I just want you to know that I just got a private message, and I'm sorry I'm going to say it out loud.
It's okay.
I just got a private message that says, I love Claire. Keep her.
I love it.
So just so you know, that is a message I just read, which is why my face changed. And I was like, yes.
We're gonna keep Claire.
Fine. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm not going anywhere. Fine.
Okay. But no, I agree. That has been my go-to response.
Yeah, it's
lately.
kind of like the
okay.
phrase. It's kind of like the phrase when we also say like, I'm hanging in there, or how's it hanging,
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's kind of the other response to that too, of like, and I've gotten used to those too. Like, I can tell it kind of helps too, though, when you're going through this of, you know what those key words and phrases are of saying to somebody, like,
Yeah.
like if you said that to me, Tina, I'm like, okay, Tina, what's wrong?
Yeah. What's happening? Where are we at?
Like, I've never met you before, but I know I've had this conversation before with your husband before. The few times I've met him here in Dallas.
I'm sorry.
So, but it's okay. No, but that's what it is. It's when you know automatically of that click of knowing, like, especially with most of us, we know when instantly, okay, we're gonna get along fine. Like,
Yeah.
I think I said that to him 5 seconds after I met him at work before.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we're gonna get along fine. I can tell. So
Yeah. He has that way about him. Gotta say, you either love him or you want to punch him in the face.
Well, because this was the time when I was dealing with one of our favorite.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's drink to that.
My
Yep. Every once in a while you have some personalities that just don't mix. And that's okay. They exist. But no, I appreciate that, and I think it is. I think hey, Walter, you need to stop, bud.
I know you feel the same way, Walter.
He does. He's very upset.
He does.
Very upset. And that's why most of the time I'm like, what happened? Tell me about it. Like, what? No, they didn't.
Yeah,
but I think
there's
something about it.
Yeah, I talked to him that very first time, and he actually was quite caught off guard with everything that I told him. But yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes it's good to know that you can talk to someone and they can receive that information and take it.
Mhm.
And that we're lucky enough that we find different communities. Like we have this mental health chat. We had like the LA Justice group. Jonathan, you have so many groups with everything in your life between us, between your recovery groups,
Mhm.
ways to know, no matter what you say. I'm going to say this like I think you guys all get it. Like to my best friend who actually is the one who loves you, Claire. Where she's always like, well, don't judge me. And I'm like, I'm always going to judge you, but I'm always in it. Like I'm here.
I'm always judging. I say that too. It's like, don't judge me. It's like, too bad I already am.
Judging you. Yeah.
I say that.
But I'm not holding it against you. I feel like there's a difference.
You got to throw that in there.
It's like the phrase when we say when we're laughing. It's like, no, I'm not laughing at you, Tina. I am laughing with you. You're just laughing on the inside.
I know. I feel like I had someone tell me that once, and I was just like, but I'm not laughing. Full pout. But what I love about this conversation, and sorry for my techno lights in my backyard, I blame a dog named Walter.
It's okay. It's fine. It's fine to watch.
The amount of love that dog has for literally everything on the planet, I think we all could use a little bit more of. Be a little more like Walter. And life would be pretty great, because right now he found a stick and he is the most excited thing on the face of the planet.
Yes.
We should get bracelets made and sell them online. Be more like Walter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I could not agree more. One, Walter was also my grandfather's name, and I also think we should be a little bit more like him too.
Just get pins. Just get little pins made. The little enamel pins of a picture of him. And
oh my god, yes.
Yeah.
I can't help it. I'm a pin. I haven't bought anything yet from your site, but I'm a huge pin freak, and I'm realizing that right now.
Well, good, because I do think we need to have a little Walter with his face like this.
Oh my god, yes. Are you kidding me?
Oh no, see, look. I have pins.
Oh, you do like pins.
That's one. This is number 2.
Well, if you worked for shenanigans, you had enough swag.
If I was? What did you say?
The one movie with Jennifer Aniston, they kept going, why don't you have enough pins, or do they call pins?
Yes.
Yeah. Come
on. Office Space?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And she
only
had flair. Yeah.
Flair.
She had the bare minimum flair.
Okay, so let me explain. So I go on a cruise every year, and one of the years upstairs, we had a flair night. So I had a huge tub upstairs filled with buttons.
I love it.
This big by this big. And that's what we do. Like, we hand it out to each other.
Yeah.
Last year, our theme was the planets. So I handed out pins that says, I love Uranus.
That makes my heart happy. What I also love with that is there has to be something about and it's probably not just music, but in the music community, because you have a flair night where the Salty Dog Cruise has a swag exchange.
Yeah, it's
where it's the exact same thing.
Yes.
It's just or like at a festival, and how we all exchange our things with each other. And let's be honest, I am notorious for going to every single booth going, what will you get me?
What do you think? That's what I did. He knows it. Like, half of those pins I have upstairs are from summer camp festival.
Oh, yeah. I remember you in Scam. Oh yeah.
So I made I also made guitar picks on my previous cruise year that says it's a pic of Uranus, and it said Uranus on it with the rock boat. So
I'm done.
Claire, I think you found a new friend in Texas.
So no, but it's kind of also a way of connecting with others too. Of hey, nice to meet you. My name's Claire. I go on a cruise. It's called the Rock Boat. That's what I do. And I'll be like, hey, this is last year was my Robe year, where it was my 10th one. I'm like, here, and I threw some off the stage. And people were like, wait, what?
I love it. No,
If it makes-
I love it.
So yeah.
If it makes you any
I love it.
happier,
Yeah.
Claire, because of you, and I mean this because it's on our. I have like 3 of his songs on our PMA playlist.
Uh-huh.
But Andy Fresco, holy shit!
Oh yeah.
Love that man and his positivity.
So he's an artist that I knew from the Rock
Positivity.
Boat, and he was at Scamp this year, and they dropped me off at the concert. Like, where did she
We
go?
lost you.
Yeah.
We lost you very quick. There's no getting you back. It was just like, I'll see you in the morning. I'm not even gonna get
Goodbye now. Ta-ta for now. But I love that. I like hearing the different ways music can connect us and help us through, which is why it's important to have these moments we have now, since we don't have that.
Yeah. There's a meme on Facebook where it asks, like, I don't want to hear your favorite song. I want to know what song got you through the worst periods or got you through your shit. You know.
Actually, I think that is the perfect way. We're at about an hour and 6 minutes. I will let you know that I am going to be asking you guys back because I still have a lot more things I want to open up between the both of you. So sorry now you're stuck with us. But I say we end it. Rob has always done this whole ending with a song, but let's end it with the song that got you through a dark, shitty time or through a depression or through something. So Dan, do you have one?
I am going to alter that, throw one in the comments, and throw this quote into play because I wanted to say it, and I have this one slot. But a quote from Dave Grohl that's one of the great things about music. You can sing a song to 85,000 people, and they'll sing it back for 85,000 different reasons.
F you and your quote so you could just pull out. Jesus, that was good.
You're welcome.
That was good. I'll come back to you because I still want a song. You're not off the hook there. Jonathan.
I'm having
He's
to
looking.
look.
You're
Yeah.
looking it up? Okay, Claire.
So one of the songs that I have on regular play right now that really just helps me whenever I hear the beat of it is "The Kids Aren't All Right" by The Offspring, which describes all of us.
Yeah. So the day I woke up to the news of my grandfather passing, I was obviously a mess. And my favorite band in the world is a band called We Banjo 3. Yep, you knew it. You were saying it, you know. And they posted some lyrics to a song the day he died. Like it was meant for me in that moment of Light in the Sky. And I've listened to that song probably 300 times in this past month because for me, it spoke to my soul in that exact moment I needed it. And I'll probably listen to it after this. All right, Jonathan, do you have it?
What you got?
So, well, there's two things. So when my mom almost passed in 2011, she really liked Reba McEntire, and I really hadn't listened to her that much. And on the drive from Nashville to Austin, I think I listened to every Reba song that she ever made. And that really got me through, like, I was writing a eulogy in my head driving down to Austin because we didn't think she would make it. She did. I'm just, and I'm like, thank God. But yeah, so Reba got me through a lot after that. I would listen to Reba whenever I felt down, and it would just remind me of my mom and just lift me back up, right?
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know, something about Reba and her red hair and her just,
I love Reba.
That big red dress just makes me feel good. And then, but the one song that I've listened to that has got me through like relationship breakups and just downtime, just because I can sing it and it just really digs deep down in my soul, is Rufus Wainwright's Hallelujah.
Oh.
Yeah. Like I have a Rufus Wainwright vinyl that It just has so many songs on there, and I'll just put it on there and just listen to it when I'm feeling anxious or when I'm feeling depressed, and it just gets me through. Just Rufus, he's the man. Like I went to see him in concert at the Ryman in Nashville.
I was gonna say I saw him on tour with when Cyndi Lauper did her tour many years ago.
Stop it right now. That sounds amazing.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds incredible. Okay, Dan, not off the hook.
Never am. So a band that's always been there for me as the base of the recent tattoo is a band called Circa Survive. And my friend has these tattooed on him, these lyrics, because they hold near and dear to him and I. And it's simply the first words of the song are, "Where do you go when it gets dark? And is there room for me to there?"
Ooh. Okay, now I'm going to listen to it.
Yeah,
You will love it. It's very comforting, and it's one of those things where it's just like a hug in a song, I guess, in the way to put it. You don't even need someone there, and you're just, you're safe.
Serve and survive.
Circa.
Survive.
Circa and survive.
Just the 2 words. Circa Survive.
Circa Survive.
Circa survive. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Write that down. That was beautiful, Dan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I teared up.
What I'm
You're
here
the worst.
Well, I just, it is our 4-year friendship anniversary this past Saturday. So that's what you get as a present. You cry.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, you get to cry. What Somebody posted.
Right. We don't get to do our annual. Oh, now it's super dark. We don't get to do our annual photo with the devil's face.
Somebody posted a joke on the feed that says, "Why did Snape stand on the middle of the road?" So you never knew which side he was on. That was Michelle.
And Michelle's the one who loves you, so you can keep.
I could tell by the conversation. I knew it. I picked up on that actually.
I have known her since I was a babe. But this is perfect. Dan, do you have any last words?
Nothing besides thank you both for being open about yourselves and just coming on and just talking. Really, it means a lot to have you both here.
Always, Dan. Thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you guys too for asking or me asking. I really appreciate it. This means a lot. It's definitely been a big help for me during past couple of weeks. So
good. Well, you're loved. You're both very loved. Jonathan, I will make you a Greek meal when you're here. And we'll see you guys soon. Okay, so Dan, you can go ahead and say goodbye. Thank you, everyone. If you have any questions, keep them in the comments. Tag these 2 lovely humans. I bet they'll respond.
Yeah,
very much.
Find us, add us. I really don't care. So yeah.
Yeah.
Take care.
Bye, guys.